So we'll start with you, Eddie, and we've got a couple of questions that link together. And from Ashley Kaufman, who said, would love some advice on strength and conditioning. What kind of stuff to do? HIIT training, weights, body weight, amount of reps. What should a typical strength and conditioning session look like, and how often? And Mark Dennis, also similar question, information on how best to periodize strength and conditioning from the off season to the running season would be great.
It's like my whole degree in 2 questions. Oh, well, we could do a whole podcast on strength and conditioning. And it was funny that the majority of our questions were based on this. And this is a big thing lots of people ask. And people, funnily enough, only get interested in strength and conditioning as they get older or when they get injured. When we're in our 20s, it's easy. So I'm going to keep the answer quite simple because we could go into a lot of detail. So I think Dave and I both, we're going to answer as much as we can, but we'll keep it quite simple. If you want to talk more, send me a message, and then probably the same with Dave as well, or look into it yourself. Hopefully we're going to spread some little nuggets that will encourage you to perhaps do a little bit more reading about this topic. So the first thing, if you're looking into strength and conditioning and you don't have a clue what to do, I would recommend the first thing you want to do is work out what you want to work on. So why do we do strength and conditioning? Well, majority of us do it because we don't want to get injured, and we want to get faster and more powerful, and we want to be consistent in our training. So have a little look at that. This time of year, when you ask about periodization, is the perfect time of year to sit back and try something new, because I guarantee if you pick up any sort of weight, do any sort of new class, any sort of new exercise, the next day you're going to feel it. So you don't want to be right in the middle of a marathon training build up 3 weeks before your A race and go, I'm going to do some deadlifts. Okay. Really now is a perfect time if you want to add strength and conditioning into your program. But what does strength and conditioning look like? Majority of us, have not had a great deal of experience of going into the gym. When we think of the gym, we think of the big weights, big muscle, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so strength conditioning can encompass all sorts of different things. The most important thing is to find something that you like doing, because if going to the gym is really hard to fit into your life, it's a little bit intimidating, perhaps it's expensive, gyms aren't even open at the moment, it's another thing to add onto your routine, you're not going to keep doing it. Okay, so find something that perhaps you are interested in and is easy to do. Strength and conditioning doesn't have to be about lifting heavy weights. Lifting heavy weights does have a place in the program, but it might not be the thing for you at the moment. So have a think about something that you'll be really interested in. For me, I really like doing Pilates. I find that it really, it adds to my running. I can do it throughout the year. It works different muscles. It works on my weaknesses, and it takes away the focus of my quads and hamstrings and glutes and makes me focus on my core. So strength and conditioning doesn't have to be about lifting heavy weights. It can be kettlebells. So you can jump on Amazon, maybe not at the moment. I think a lot of them have sold out, but you can have a look at different kettlebell routines. There's heaps of them on YouTube. You can add that into your program. You can add that in right now. Start very gently, mix it up with different things. So strength and conditioning doesn't have to be about lifting weights, but lifting heavy weights is the perfect way to get faster, get more powerful, maintain good form. But there's lots of coaches out there, and I think Dave would probably agree with me, which encourage you to do this, but you need to be able to do it properly. So yes, now is the time to put some heavy weights, to try lifting heavy weights once gyms reopen. But I would encourage you, if you're thinking of adding weights into your program, you're not sure what to do, to engage the help of a professional. Because even when I go to the gym now and I do things like deadlifts and heavy squats, I have a mate who will help me, because you often don't know what you're doing. You can feel that you're in the right position, but you're actually not. And you can end up either not doing the exercise properly, and it's a bit of a waste of time, or you can injure yourself. So I wanted to sort of get the point across that strength and conditioning doesn't have to be about going to a gym. It has to be something that fits into your life and something that you like doing. Alongside the strength and conditioning, there needs to be also things that you do regularly. you need to always be doing throughout the year. So instead of thinking about periodization, throughout the year, your core work. So by core, I don't just mean your abs, like you're at your six-pack, John. I mean like all your upper body strength and your spine. So you can do this body weight. And for all my athletes, Dave, you're probably the same. I write a quick core session, which we incorporate into a lot of the recovery sessions or easy runs. They do a recovery session, they do an easy run, they come home, 15, 20 minutes, body weight exercises, nothing too taxing. You can do it in front of the TV, you can do it while the kettle boils, but just remind those muscles how to work. Really works on those little weaknesses, because you know, you go shoulder bridge, one leg lift, and you go, oh my God, I'm really weak on that side. Okay, I really need to work on that. Add that in, it all adds up. You do that a couple of times a week, and you'll suddenly find over a 12-week cycle, you've done 3 to 4 hours of core work without really even noticing it in your plan. So core work, stretching, whatever that looks like to you. Again, everybody has a different opinion, but anything that feels tight, a little bit of stretching, always working on your feet. Rolling your feet. If you've got a spiky ball, golf ball, cold can of Coke, oh my God, that feels so good after a long run. In the evening, always working on your feet, on your flexibility, on stretching them out, and then finally on your stability. So if you've got a wobble board or Bosu ball, or even you can just stand on the edge of a step, okay, and close your eyes. And balance on one foot, close your eyes, balance on the other foot, working on those proprioceptors, always trying to improve that, especially if you're a trail runner, and you perhaps go over on your ankle a lot. So all those sort of little things you keep in your program all your time. You do them every single week. Those are consistent. Those are things that are always in your strength and conditioning program. And then the things like weightlifting, the things like kettlebells, other stuff like that, they can sort of flow in and out depending on where you are in your cycle. So if you're looking into getting into some strength and conditioning, I would say now, December, now is the time to have a little look, maybe have a look at gyms around you. I know gyms do sort of like some programs for beginners. See if you've got any mates, maybe some mates have got gyms at home. So yeah, have a go and see what difference it makes your runners. I've never had a client that's added any core strength work to their program and gone, oh yeah, it hasn't really helped. Always they come away going, oh my gosh, I feel stronger. I feel I can engage those muscles. So that was me talking very quickly.
Also, we had a question from Deborah Bourne, and she said, how do you make strength training less boring? Can you split it up during the day? Example, all the reps in one move each time you're waiting for the kettle to boil. Or if you can't do the recommended amount, how do you work up to it? Start with the fewer reps. So some thoughts on how you can make it less boring.
Well, first of all, I'll back up totally what Eddie said about chipping away all the time. So my athletes I send them little videos and saying, these are your core drills for this week, demonstrated with on my lovely patio out the back there. So we're doing that, but to make it more likely that an athlete is going to do it, you've got to be accountable. So even though most runners go, well, basically my heart rate's not out through the roof, I'm not sweating buckets, therefore it's not training, and you've got to throw that out the window. And what you need to do is I'll get all my athletes, I say to them, I want you to record when you do your core training, when you do your balance training, all of that, you have to record it on your watch. So it then gets dragged through to me and I can see it on their training plan with a little green dot next to it, meaning they've done it. And then I can look at the data if I want. But if there's a degree of accountability, that's a good thing. Even if somebody's not being coached, a lot of runners will either have their online training diary, or they'll be old school and they'll still have their paper training diary, but it should all be written in. So training isn't about going running. Training is about doing everything that makes you a better runner. So once they can make that switch, then you can kind of see the point in doing it. You don't want to be doing it just because you think, well, everybody says I should do it, so I'll do it. You've got to do it because you believe it's going to make a difference to you. And I think that's a big, important switch that an athlete needs to make. And I jot down a few, how are you going to make it more enjoyable? How are you going to make it more likely you're going to do it? So after the accountability, you've always got loads and loads of dead time in the day when you've got 5 minutes here, you've got 10 minutes there, you're watching the news in the evenings, you've got half an hour there. So why aren't you doing it then? You know, that's we've got dead time. We could be doing it then. Well, I do my core work sitting in front of the telly.
I'm doing it right now. You can't see I'm actually in a permanent squat.
just below the waist only though. And things like, I mean, now there's also, we're all becoming a lot easier at using Zoom, aren't we, Eddie? And and why not arrange to meet up on Zoom with some friends, so that, you know, even if you haven't got the time to go somewhere to meet up and do it, or go to a gym to do it, meet up and say, right, every Tuesday night and every Thursday night, we're going to meet up on Zoom at this time and we're going to do our session together. Somebody's got the music on, and you do something like that, just so you make it something that's in the training diary, it's in the plan. I'm making a commitment because I've got friends that I'm going to do it with, therefore I'm more likely to do it. Another one of my little favorites is, I get on YouTube and I find videos of people who have done the races that I'm going to do later that year. So I'll actually just watch a video, so I'm kind of motivated and thinking about the race while I'm doing it, and that kind of keeps me ticking over and keeps me going towards it. Yeah.
I think as well as if you, when you're planning your strength and conditioning, if you focus on what you need for your race and you're doing exercises that are going to make you stronger for that race, like if you're going to come, if your CCC or UTMB is in your head for next year, or you missed it out this year, you know you're going to need quad strength, you're going to need glute strength. If you really focus your strength and conditioning on that, and that's what you need, I think it's a little bit more motivating, rather than, you know, why am I doing this exercise? And it doesn't need to be complicated. Bodyweight exercise, majority of my athletes haven't been to a gym this year, and they do bodyweight exercise. You can use your bodyweight. I mean, 20 press-ups, pull-ups, single leg squats. You do 10 single leg squats holding a small child in front of you, and it's really, really hard work. So I think people overthink it as well, and it doesn't. And just like you say, you put the kettle on and you do 10 calf raises, done.
What are you doing your teeth?
Yeah.
Why are you doing your teeth? Stand on one leg. I make my husband do that. It drives him mad. Oh, just want to go to bed. On my neck, please.
I can see why you said right at the beginning that we could have a whole episode on every one of these topics, and it might be that we'll come back to this, but there's some great points there, and thank you so much.